cool. I've got a question for you from the last guest, and a lot of these questions seem to be food related. I don't really know why, because we have really profound conversations, and there's some sort of like, what pizza do you like and stuff like that. I'm like, okay, but it eases you in, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, the question is, what's the most pathetic tour meal you've ever had or been given?
Do you know what's even more pathetic is that I've actually never been on tour.
Oh, I thought, because I'd seen that you'd played in a band previously, and I thought you guys might have.
We never went on tour, but we just played a lot. But
yeah,
it's a while ago now.
You must have had some terrible meals on some riders.
Not even that. Just like, I'm vegan, right? So and go back 3 years, it was not as good as it is now to be vegan. Yeah. Actually, I think I was vegetarian at that point, but still, it was all not very good either. I tell you what, when I came home from gigs, and I used to, when you like, if you've been staying up like until really late, early hours of the morning, you almost get like another wave of hunger, like you should have another meal, right? So when I used to get in from gigs, I used to sit there and eat like dry cereal. But I actually quite like doing that in a very strange way. It's like sweet crisps. So let's go with that.
I've never sweet. Do you watch Peep Show by any chance?
I do watch Peep Show.
You've made me think of what is it? He just says Frosties are just cornflakes for people that can't face the real world or something like that.
Yeah. No, I really like a cereal. So it's not. I actually don't think it's pathetic, but some people would say dry cereal is a pathetic excuse for food.
I think for a late night snack, there are a lot of better options. I always find that if I get back late, I eat loads of food and then I wake up weirdly hungry the next day. I don't know what it is. I don't know if you go into overdrive trying to digest everything and then I'm starving the next morning.
Mess up your body. I always get that. Yeah, I always get that. I'm hungry now, actually. Now we're talking about food.
Sorry. Yeah, it's not, well, sort of 1 o'clock in the afternoon was maybe not the best choice to start with a food question.
Well, I've got myself a nice little protein shake here. So.
Oh, nice. Oh, I always hated them. I think I've tried protein shakes like 10 times. I didn't bought the things and then just gone there.
Salted caramel.
Ugh.
I quite like it. I think it's all right. I'm one of those horrific people that just mixes it with water because I can't be bothered to like.
Oh, milk makes me just feel a bit sick.
Waste calories on using milk or like making a big smoothie. I don't care. Just give me the protein. I really don't mind.
I used to do the protein bars. I found I could do them, but I couldn't do the
shakes.
I could never. The shakes just make me feel.
I would not hit protein serving goals if I didn't have shakes. So
fair enough. Protein shake before a show.
Ooh, well, you know what? I didn't used to the bodybuilding kind of interest, I guess. Didn't kick in until I had just about left my last band. So I never used to, but protein shake before a lot of things, yes. When I was filming my guitar course last year, I used to come into work every day with a protein shake, and we are like the other two were vegan as well. So we used to just have like loads and loads of Trek bars, and we would joke about that the whole course should just be sponsored by Trek or whoever makes those protein bars, because that's what we lived off of whilst we were filming it.
I think one of the unhealthiest meals I've ever had in my life was a vegan meal. It was like a I think it was called like a salt and pepper box, and it was just like every vegetable but just with like the most salt and pepper and like fatty stuff. And it tasted great. But that was possibly like one of the most unhealthy condensed meals I had.
Yeah, vegan, you can do dirty vegan as well. Definitely.
Yeah, I think that's probably, I think I've only ever done like the non-day-to-day, like you couldn't actually have a healthy lifestyle kind of vegan food.
You know, a lot of people, make that mistake because they sorry, this is your show now. Your podcast is becoming a food podcast.
Oh, it's honestly, we can talk about whatever. There is no agenda. Like, I've got some questions and things, but like if we don't get to them, I don't care.
Yeah.
All good.
Just talk about food.
Yeah, that's cool.
What was I going to say? Yeah, like a lot of people are like, I'll go vegan to be healthy. And then, you know, they actually get down to the nitty gritty of like, what do I eat? And they end up just living off of crisps and stuff like that because they, you know, there's a lot of stuff, naughty stuff that is vegan anyway. So yeah, I try and do it well. I'm going to have salad for lunch. Avocado is my life.
I've eaten a lot of avocados recently, and I still don't think I know what avocado tastes like. Like, what does it
Someone
taste?
described it to me really well the other day, and they said it's like savory butter, I think is what they said. I can't, or like
true.
vegetable butter. Is
Yeah.
it fruit or is it vegetable? I'm actually not sure.
Boring either way.
I don't know what it is.
It's too boring to be a fruit.
I live for avocado. Like, I would eat avocado for the rest of my life. If you said like you can have one thing for the rest of your life, I think avocado might be that, to be fair.
But don't you find you can eat avocado? It's good for all of like 28 minutes and then it goes bad.
Actually, yeah. If you're eating avocado toast, after a little while, I actually think it's the chewing I get bored of, to be honest. It depends what you dress it up with as well, doesn't it? Like, I've had some.
I always have it with poached eggs. Which isn't very vegan.
See,
so,
yeah, I don't really like, even before I was vegan. I had this thing before I went vegan where when I was just veggie, I would try and eat egg occasionally, and I'd be like, this actually makes me feel very sick. I don't want to eat this anymore. I don't know what it is. It's got quite a strong. It's just strong, isn't it? I don't know. Not into it at all. But yeah,
I can actually do a neat segue into music from this.
Go on.
I always point out my neat segues, and it makes them less neat. But I just like to do that. I don't know why. So something that I kind of put on the list, I noticed that you obviously are big into like your fitness and keeping healthy and stuff. Do you find that has sort of benefited your music, sort of your music career as well? Because I find like whenever I'm the most creative is whenever I feel the best about what I'm doing is when I'm also fit and healthy.
Yeah.
So I don't know how you found that sort of tied in.
It's quite difficult because I guess I won't actually know until I start playing live again in terms of like how I actually feel. But I train it's for my headspace mainly. I like looking strong, and I like being, and also to lift my gear. Look at that. How am I gonna, I really struggled with that before, and now I probably won't. So I did it for a couple of different reasons, maybe to strengthen my back, so when I'm hunched over my desk and my guitar all day every day, like, it doesn't hurt me as much as it did before. But yeah, and for the headspace thing, I think about a lot of things when I'm training, like mental stuff, I guess, but it's also where I go to get away from everything. I would say I just feel a lot more clean is the only way I can put it.
I know what you mean.
Being vegan and training and just like kind of making effort with nutrition and stuff like that. I don't feel as sluggish and like crap all the time. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, I would say, it does make me feel better.
Yeah, I feel like something that when you put it in the frame of literally everything you do is fueled by what you take in, what nutrition you take in. When you frame it like that, it makes the McDonald's a little less appetizing because, well, maybe it doesn't, but
becoming vegan was the best thing I could have done to deter me from all of that stuff, mainly because there was like no options or no decent options for vegans for a really long time. And even like I love a good chip, not gonna lie. I really, really like chips. I actually really like bad things. Like, I'm obsessed with chocolate and stuff. But
what's vegan chocolate like?
Nice. Yeah, tasty. But I also really like dark chocolate, which is naturally vegan as well. Or a lot of it is. It depends if it's got like enough cocoa percentage in it, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I think being vegan, I actually went vegetarian originally when I was about 17 because I was just like, I'll be healthier this way, and I didn't actually know anything about it. The research came later, but it's been the best thing for deterring me away from like bad food. There's no such thing as bad food, but like junk food, I would say. Don't know why. Just also I don't crave it nearly as much as I used to. Like, I kid you not, I could sit and probably I used to eat spoonfuls of Nutella out of the jar when I was like a teenager. I'd get home from school and I'd be like, yeah, this is for me, get a spoon and just like eat that off the spoon straight away. But that would be far too sickly for me now. I couldn't do it. So yeah, I don't know what it is, but yeah, it's interesting, that, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, like, caffeine is the fuel of many musicians, mainly because they can't be taking drugs all day. So I find that like I drink a fair bit of coffee and I took the sugar out, and I found for a few days I had like headaches because I didn't have that sugar hit. But then now I can't drink a coffee without a sugar. I can't drink it with a sugar. Sorry, it feels sickly and horrible. And I think it's probably the same. Like, you start to adapt, don't you? And your taste change.
So. Yeah. I agree with that. I personally cannot do caffeine. Full stop.
Oh no, it helps me.
No, not good for me. I'll just end up sitting there having panic attacks if I have it. Like, it's
Oh
just
no.
not good for me. I was all right with it for a long time, and then it was like, oh no, I'm buzzing, but in a really bad way, kind of thing.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
I think something that kind of I find is I was saying, I can't remember who I was saying this to now. I find if I write something that I really like, if I'm writing some riffs or whatever, and then I write an idea I really like, I get really overexcited about it, and it's almost like to the point where I have to stop and just like I wish I could carry on but like I end up just playing the riff over and over because I'm like, yeah, this is great, and I think that feeling plus caffeine is just like not a good.
Oh God,
like,
that's an intense combo right there.
Yeah,
yeah, definitely.
But so something I was looking at your Captain Meets thing, which is that's such a bucket list for like so many guitarists as well, which in its own right. But what I found interesting is that I think we have some similarities in how we approach things, because you were talking about how you're doing a lot. Obviously, you've built a huge kind of social media following and career from that. But you were saying that really what you want to pursue is the band is being a. Correct me if I'm wrong with it. This is the impression I got from what you were saying, that the sort of touring musician, actively writing music. It sounds like that is like the goal, right?
Yeah, definitely, 100%.
I think so. Yes.
Yeah. I can't stress that enough. To be fair, that's exactly what I want to do.
Because what I was going to say is I mean I feel this. I'm kind of trying to do a similar thing in with slightly less followers, but I'll get on with it anyway. But I'm trying, and but what I was going to say was I noticed you mentioned you're going to start, or you do sing, and you're fronting the band, right? Is that
I am.
Because something I've noticed is there's a distinct lack of, I've put in my notes here, where are the Hetfields? As in a lack of really good guitar players that can also sing and front a band. I've noticed that, might just be me, I've noticed there aren't so many nowadays, maybe. And maybe you're filling a
Ooh.
gap that isn't.
Oh, I like that a lot. Thank you. Yeah,
Okay.
that's I've never really thought of it as like that. I love that. Where are the Hetfields at? That's so
It's
true.
literally what I've written in my notes.
You're so right. Like, come to think of it now, I mean, one of my favorite bands, inspirations, Alter Bridge and like Mark Tremonti, Miles Kennedy. Obviously, Mark sings and is an absolute shredder, and Miles sings and is an absolute wizard on guitar as well. So they are there, but they are few and far between, aren't they?
Yeah.
When you actually sit down and analyze, I can't actually think of that many. Obviously, you got like Dave Mustaine and stuff as well. But not necessarily sitting in the same genre as those guys. But no, you are right. Is that my cat trying to break in? No, it's not. It's fine. Sometimes she just like smashes the door open, but she's not there.
I feel like I kind of want to get a cat at some point. But I saw a video of Dave Mustaine shouting at a goose the other day, and I thought maybe he's not got that long left as a musician.
Oh my god! Oh Jesus! No,
he was like, what was he saying? I can't remember. Oh, he was taking the mickey out of people asking for like autographs and stuff, and he was just following a goose around. I was like, Dave, I don't know what's happening.
I've not seen it. No, I've not seen it.
It's it's an interesting video of him. I just kind of think maybe he's a couple of screws loose.
I think we all become that way. I've already got a few screws loose, so I wouldn't worry too much.
That can be fixed. Yeah. So what kind of in terms of the music? I mean, I wouldn't want to spoil too much, but in terms of the music that you're working towards with this band, what kind of, how would you? Well, you don't have to describe it, I guess, if you want to keep it under wraps. But
no, not at all. I won't say too much, but I will say I don't. Okay, right. Let me ask you. What would you be? What the hell? What would you be
destroy your gear?
Expecting? Yeah. What would you be expecting? What would you assume? Like, you're talking genre wise, right? And like style.
Yeah, kind of style, genre. Like, what kind of alleyway would you?
What would you expect me to do?
Because I'm the one that asked the questions. No, no. I will. Okay, so I think, I mean, my guess would be like down the Alter Bridge. I noticed you were big on. I mean, Alter Bridge are my absolute heroes. I've got my old. There you go.
Oh yeah. Oh man, that's beautiful.
Deal. Even got Mark on the back of that. You can't. But yeah. So nice. I'm a fan as well. But I would have guessed down that sort of in somewhere in that
It's not.
ballpark. Ooh, okay.
No,
The
it's
other
not.
one, I noticed you said a lot about like Pink Floyd.
It's not that either.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
see, this is it. It's not gonna be what people are expecting, because what I listen to, well, I listen to so much stuff now, but isn't necessarily a reflection of what I write.
Yeah.
Which is quite interesting.
Cool.
So it's not going to be, I think, yeah, what people are just going to be expecting. You can definitely hear my influences in there, but style wise, it's more on the pop side of things, actually.
Oh, cool.
And that's not something that I've forced. I actually sat down when I left my last band, and then I made the mistake of instantly trying to write for this project straight away, whatever this project was going to be. And I hadn't left enough time between. And basically, I was just trying really, really hard to write what I think people would expect me to write, and write like my influences. And I hated every single thing that I wrote, and it wasn't me, and it wasn't very good, and I wasn't happy about it. So I went away for about 6 months, and I put the pen down, so to speak, stopped writing, and then eventually just let it happen naturally. And I didn't try anything. I just allowed whatever was going to happen, and it ended up not being what I thought it would be, and I really like that. So it's closer, yeah, to the pop side of things. Like Billie Eilish is one of my biggest inspirations right now.
She's awesome.
Yeah, so the way I would like to see it would be like something edgy like Billie, but mix shreddy guitar a little bit.
Yeah.
Something like Billie, but with guitar solos, essentially. But
Yeah.
it's like naturally what I've kind of gravitated towards. And I also think it's because I'm fronting this project. So I'm taking more of a singer-songwriter approach than I am a guitarist songwriter approach for this. And that's just naturally kind of what's happened. So I'm very eager, I'm very happy. It's just for me, songwriting is really therapeutic, and like I just don't know how to explain it other than that. It's a very healing experience. And yeah, I've just stopped trying so hard to be what I think people would want me to be, because it's not genuine. Then I just trying to be genuine, just allowing whatever to happen, so to speak. Yeah,
it's difficult to find your purpose, especially when and not just finding your purpose, but finding that specific route you want to pursue, because obviously you can say I want to be a musician, but like that's a lot of things, and that you could still not have your purpose found. If anything, it can be so close yet so far when you're a musician. Like I think it's almost like if you're doing one thing, this is something I was going to ask you about, was does it sometimes feel like, because you're doing so well with the social media and with the YouTube and everything, the YouTube, I sound so fucking old.
The YouTube
with the Facebook, when you're on MySpace, So, but I think obviously there's going to be some pressure to just stick with that, because you're doing well with it. And
I can't actually describe to you. I was having this conversation with someone the other day. It actually bears a heavy weight on my shoulders all the time, and I feel I've been having an identity crisis for about, I don't know how many years, like since I was 17, I would say. Because I joined the last band I was in when I was 17, and it was like great fun, not really the genres I was listening to. So at that point I was actually like Mastodon or Die, Alter Bridge or Die, like All I Want Is Metal, blah 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 blah. I still love all of those bands, but this band was more like 80s inspired stuff, so it wasn't my genres at all. But I joined for the experience, and I'm glad I did, because I've got to play so many shows and stuff. But to be taken at such a time where you're figuring yourself out and your identity, and then put into something where you have to become a role, I think that's actually, it's made things difficult for me, because I still haven't worked myself out yet. And until I release my own music and like say something for myself and how I am and how I write and everything, like I don't think that pressure is gonna go away. So I basically am now just trying to get music out as soon as possible, so that I can be like, oh, now everyone knows who I actually am, and people can I don't know, probably no one is being like, oh, I reckon she's doing this, blah blah blah. But at the same time, it's like I feel like at that point I can breathe like a sigh of relief, because I'm like, oh, now they actually know kind of what I am about, and I can hopefully then settle into this identity, like who I really am. Because until that point, like until I release my own music, people are just going off of what covers I play, or the band I was previously in, like there isn't a lot. It's all still quite fresh and mysterious, really. I'm at the beginning of my career. So I'm just very excited to finally be like, hello, I'm Sophie, and this is what I'm actually about, kind of thing.
I kind of funnily, this is a weird sort of scoop on my life, but by the time this is out, it feels weird even saying this, I would have left my band. I haven't spoken to the guys just yet, but I'm I know. Well, I mean, the thing is, this will be out a little while later, so yeah, it kind of feels weird talking about it now, because I'm not. But I know that by the time this comes out, I would have done, because I'm just trying to find my way. I think, like, trying to figure out what it's a shame, because there's a lot of potential in the band, but it's just not right for me. I won't go into all the reasons, but like,
you have to do what's best for you, and that's exactly why I left the last project, because it got to the point I'd been in there for 3 years, and I was like, this isn't the music. Like, I can't actually write for this project, because this isn't how I write, and it's never gonna. I'm never gonna be like satisfied or fulfilled, because I can't write for this, and I want to be a writer. You have to do what's best for you. So all power to you. Do it.
Well, yeah, it's a weird one. I mean, like, you can't just dismiss everything, but you've got to pick your battles and find what. I think, ultimately being a musician, it's a very it's very much a very specific path to go down, and so I think if you're going to make the decision to try and be a musician, you've got to pursue something true to what you really want to do, and how you want to be and live. Rather than,
it's quite a lot to think about. It's a tricky one. Like I said, I've been having a permanent identity crisis since I was 17, and it's exhausting. I sort of know the feeling. I wouldn't go as far as to say I've kind of been identity crisis sort of levels, but I think I'm sort of figuring things out, and I think a lot of musicians to some degree are, and that's not me demeaning your sort of personal experience of it. If anything, it's sort of comforting. I found so many people that I've spoken to on this podcast of people that you would think had it sorted out, where like, you'd probably look at me and think, oh, she knows what she's doing, and I'm like, no. Not at all. I'm really am figuring it out still. But at the same time, I'm like, I'm also quite young, so I hope I could just, I think this is normal. I'm getting itchy now. I really want to just release something with my stamp on it and be like, that's it, kind of thing. But it changes, artists change over the years anyway, but right now I'm like, this is currently what I'm about. So no, that's also comforting to hear that other people are similar to that.
I mean, the last person the person who asked your question was Dean Lamb from Archspire,
right.
And he was talking a lot about sort of imposter syndrome, and not quite in the, maybe he sort of experienced it in his own way, but I said, like, so how do you get over that? And he's like, get over it. Like, he's still figuring it out. I
think these are the things you live with.
I think it is. It's kind of, it's not that you can't move past them, but I think if you're gonna, there's always that you always have that expectation of yourself to push, be a bit better, like write a bit of a better song, or I think it's just inherent in the successful musicians. It's just, tied in.
It's the constant hunger to grow, so to speak. I think. I'm just excited to make that step. I feel like I feel right now like I'm being an imposter a little bit, because all of the stuff that I'm posting, until I can post my own stuff, I'm like, oh well, this is what I listen to, but this isn't me necessarily. It's weird. It's such a weird one. It really messes with your head.
Are there any kind of so obviously you have built quite a following, and obviously at a young age, are there any sort of mistakes that you feel that, or not mistakes, because that sounds quite critical, but are there any things you've done that you look back on in the process of growing as a musician where you think, I would have done that differently, looking back on it?
Definitely. Not necessarily regrets, but you learn these things.
I know what you mean.
More so recently. No, I'm happy about the previous kind of decisions that I made and the kind of like progression of everything. I wouldn't necessarily change that. But more recently, and this is hard because of the pandemic and stuff as well, but just like I would go back to myself and go, what are you waiting for? Just do it. Like I started this project that I'm currently working on 2 and a bit years ago. January 2020 is when I started writing for it.
Good timing.
And I still don't have music out. It's been 2 years. What are you waiting for? Like, what are you waiting for? I could be ahead of the game right now, but I'm not. So I think that's the main thing that I would say to myself, to be honest. What are you waiting for? Just do it. Yeah.
And yeah, because I think another thing I was interested in was like things like the Captain Meets interview, which is like a really cool thing, and working with PRS and all of these kind of the things that sort of that you attain along the way. I think one of my questions was, so like I have a couple of small endorsements, and I found that they were exciting when I got them. Like I was like, oh, it's quite valid. It sort of validates you to an extent, and you feel happy that you got them, and you feel a little better as a musician. But there's is two things. One is I've noticed anyone that I've met who has any level of endorsement tells me rather quickly. So I'm trying to avoid that and I've just done it. But but I noticed what happens is like it makes you happy straight away, but does it necessarily change your perspective on life? And I've found that like although it was really cool getting that recognition, I didn't feel it changed me as a person. You sometimes you think, oh, if I get this, things will be better or things will be more exciting. What's been your experience of kind of attaining some of these things and sort of how it feels afterwards?
Well, I had a couple of endorsements. I have my dream companies, obviously, and I'm very blessed that I'm with like all of them now. Yeah. Which is kind of mental if you think about it. But I had some endorsements before that with not my dream companies and just ones that I was like, again, I was really young. I was like 18 or something like that. So I'm just going to accept this because it's cool. And I wasn't in a place where I could pitch myself to these big companies yet. It's just wild talking about this and thinking about how I was just like a couple of years ago or whatever, really. But I think going back to what you said about mistakes or regrets, I wouldn't necessarily say they're mistakes or regrets because everything is a learning experience. But the biggest piece of advice I could give to anyone who was kind of like at that stage that I was at was like, literally, unless it's the company that you want end goal, just don't like, because the thing was the kind of, I mean, the company might be really nice, whatever, you might be really nice, whatever, and you might work well-ish together, but the thing is, unless for me at least, I was like, if it's not exactly who I want, the thing I learned was like my heart isn't truly in it with them, and it shows in the relationship, and there will be miscommunication and issues that arise as a result of that. So I would say like hold out for the end goal companies and just keep working towards getting on board with them, because once you finally do, it's so much more worth it, and also you will avoid a lot of conflict by going directly for what you actually want. Like you're going to end up saving a lot of time and hassle and stuff like that by just keeping your eye on the actual ones that you want, rather than getting involved with people along the way. I mean, it could be cool. I think it depends on you as an individual and your journey and what you think is right. But for me personally, it was a hard little experience there, hard little lesson to kind of like learn at such a young age. But now it's all worked out in the end, so it's fine. And I wouldn't necessarily say, going back to a question like whether it's changed me as a person, but it other than just being incredibly humbled by it, and being like, oh my God, like I've played these companies since I was a kid and they want to work with me now. Like it's very humbling and incredibly crazy, I guess you could say. And I think the other important thing is it's the lovely mutual support. And this actually ties into what I was saying before about only go for the ones you want end stage, because they know I worship them. like they know I love them to bits, and the relationship between us is kind of like so genuine and just really nice, and yeah, it's just a lot stronger that way. So yeah, it's just very nice to have support from people that, or brands that like mean a lot to you, I guess. So yeah, I wouldn't say it's changed me, but it's just so lovely, I guess.
Yeah, I know several. I've seen several, particularly guitarists, because you see guitar endorsements are quite a big thing for like growing artists. I've seen so many guitarists like endorsed by one thing, and then within the space of a year, they've got like 3 other endorsements. Like, as in, they'll get one guitar endorsement, and then another different guitar company.
Yeah,
like, that doesn't look healthy.
Very, I'm really specific about, like, I always said, like, PRS are the most incredible company, and I cannot stress that enough. Like, the best, and I love them so much. I'm gonna say again, I love them so much. But yeah, so like,
this is not a paid advert.
It's not at all. And this is why it's so genuine, is because I genuinely just love them to pieces, and I always will do. And they have been so amazing. And they said, even at the beginning when I asked, is this like exclusive? Not as in I won't do it if it's exclusive, as in if you want me to be exclusive, I will do that for you, like forever, kind of thing. But they were like, no, like, you're free to play kind of what you want, but you are our artist and we'll support you and stuff, which was incredible and a very different experience kind of for me. But I'm very particular about, obviously with a YouTube channel where I demo different guitars and stuff like that, I just always want to stress the fact that PRS is the brand I am with, like, and that I want to be with, and I don't want to accept random endorsements from everyone, because I like to have my stuff neatly in one place. It's the only way I can sort of put it. Yeah, and you shouldn't just accept loads of endorsements for the sake of it. I think as long as because it becomes too much to manage as well, like, just you can work with whatever companies you want, but the ones that you should endorse, I think, should be the ones that you really want, if that makes sense. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
I guess. Yeah,
that's very succinct. Yeah. You should only endorse the companies you want. You rounded it off very, very neatly. Yeah, I mean, that's even if the rest didn't, the end did. So you're good. No, but it did make sense.
Summed it up.
Yeah. No, I mean, yeah. Luckily, I'm kind of the companies that I've been quite lucky with. I sent, like, I think 3 emails out to the specific sort of, all emails or messages out to the companies that I wanted to work with, and then 2 of them got back. So I was like, oh, sick. Okay, well, I didn't, it's not like I was just firing emails at every.
Oh yeah, no, I would definitely not suggest doing that. So yeah. No. I've never really been one to, like, approach. Kind of. I mean, I didn't approach PRS. I did approach D'Addario and actually got rejected.
Oh, really?
First time. Yeah. It's a fun little learning story. And I don't hold any malice, obviously. I still love them to bits, and I'm with them now as an artist. But I just think it's so. It was a really important lesson for me to learn, and I was too young. I was like 17 or 18. I wasn't ready yet. And they essentially said, like, kind of like what you're doing, but just like. Not yet, timing's not right, kind of thing. And I was like, okay, but it gave me the motivation to be like, I will do whatever it takes to get to that point. And then I eventually got in contact again, and then they were like, yeah, cool, like, we know who you are now, kind of thing. And same with EVH gear. I got in contact with them, but it was at a point where I was kind of ready-ish, I guess you could say. It's just nice, and it's just like firing emails around, like, that is what not to do, basically, is my best advice to give. Don't do that. Just go for the ones that you want, keep them neat and select, and work really hard for it, because they'll be able to see straight through you if you're just trying to get a load of endorsements. It's too easy, and they won't value you as much as an artist. And I think that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, it's I think what it is a lot of people, myself included, I'm guilty of it, where you want to be able to say that you're endorsed more than you want the endorsement. Yes. And it's not from a sort of self-conscious place. It is sometimes, for me, it's like, I mean, I wanted the endorsements because I actually genuinely use the gear. So it's bare knuckle pickups, which I absolutely love, and Victory amps, and I actually recorded with them. So, like, it's not like it's stuff that I don't use anyway. But, like, part of it is, you, like, especially as an emerging artist, you kind of just want to go, hey, look at me, these people like me, So it's like, I guess a lot of people want that badge, you know, when actually maybe it doesn't weigh as much.
I can definitely understand that, because I was definitely the same when I was a bit younger. Just to be like, because it feels like you're part of something.
Yeah.
It's just, yeah, it's nice. And I still feel that way to an extent, but it's a lot more chill.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, once you actually get into it, you realize everyone is so chill and it's all very cool. I don't know, like it's not as hyped up as you would imagine it to be. And it's just, and now I'm just at the point where I'm like, oh my God, like I am lucky enough to be able to work with and play my favorite brands and endorse them and stuff. And that's a very nice thing to be able to do. But it's not, yeah. Yeah, could you imagine if you went up to someone like on the street and be like, well, I'm endorsed with so and so, like what does that mean? Like, does it mean anything? You know, it's just, yeah, it'd be funny. But
and a lot of the time endorsement just means that you get it cheap. It doesn't mean you actually like being given it, you know. And it's, so I think people play that up as well.
I did a video a couple of years ago on like guitar endorsements and everything you should know about them, but it is never, and I can't stress that enough, it's never ever been about getting free gear for me. Like, I don't care. I do not care about that. I've already bought the gear myself because I wanted to, and they can see that. Again, they're more likely to endorse you or support you back if they can see that you have a genuine appreciation for their brand and love their brand message and everything. Do not care. Even if all of the brands I was with right now, if they were like, you have to still pay for your gear, I'd be like, that's fine. Like, it's not about that for me at all. It's going into what you said earlier, it's more about being like under their roster and being associated with your favorite brand. That's more important for me than getting free gear. Like, I don't care about that, but the support is lovely. Like,
yeah, it's nice just to be genuinely proud of it, isn't it, rather than just use it as a badge of honor kind of thing.
Yeah,
I think
definitely.
That's the way to,
because
you want
it's
it
like,
to be.
And it's not like I just want to be endorsed because then people will think whatever. It's more like, I worked really hard for this and they've recognized it. I think that's more what it's about.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
I think another segue for you. So you're talking about working hard for stuff. One thing I thought was quite cool, when again from your Andertons interview, was how you were saying you're sort of bugging your parents to get you a guitar, when I know for a fact actually I teach kids whose parents bug them to play the guitar.
Yeah.
So it's quite cool that it was sort of the other way round for you, that you've.
They didn't pressure me whatsoever. They supported me, and they still do so much, but like they never were like, you need to practice, you need to play, blah blah blah. There was no nagging involved. I used to teach as well, and so I know exactly the kind of like peeps you're talking about. But no, for me it was like, I want to play. And I used to get so excited when my guitar teacher used to walk up our driveway and stuff. Like, I was obsessed. Yeah.
I would have been a rubbish teacher for you back then, because I would never have come to your house. I'm too lazy. I'm like, no, come here.
I did a bit of both. And then I decided, and then the pandemic hit, and then I went only to Skype. And then I filmed a course, and I'm like, the only way you can do lessons with me now is by watching videos. Essentially, I can't do the one-on-ones anymore.
Yeah, I do enjoy it. I find it quite fulfilling teaching the people that
actually work hard for it.
Like, I mean, mainly most of my clientele is sort of, I think it's probably men aged like 35 to 55 is most of my clientele. Right. But I mean, it's cool when they put the time in and you see progress. That's more fulfilling than an endorsement, you know, or it depends what your endorsement is, but more fulfilling than a.
So for me, it just got to the point though where I was like, when I decided I actually need to stop doing this because it's killing me, is because I was like on the brink of doing YouTube full time and making content for Patreon and stuff like that, and content for social media, and also teaching one-on-ones full time. And it used to get to the end of the day and I'd be like, I haven't played guitar for myself at all in like weeks now, because all I've been doing is teaching and preparing for their lessons. And then after all of that, I don't want to play because I've spent the whole day already doing guitar stuff. So I was like, this is really bad. This is actually damaging to my career, not enhancing it at all. So I was like, I'm gonna have to stop this. So I did. I do. It is fulfilling, and it's very nice to meet people. And wait, I'm not used to this thing being so close to me. But yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, I carefully place my lessons at the end of the day, so I can do I find I can teach if I'm a bit mentally tired, but I can't be creative on the guitar if I'm mentally tired. So I do the creative bit in the morning or like
see,
afternoon.
I couldn't do either. I can't do
Oh,
either if
okay.
I'm tired. And the thing is, I used to go to the gym and then train, and then
Oh,
I'd come
okay.
home and be like, oh, it's basically time to teach now, and that would be
Yeah.
that. So I wouldn't set any time for it. But yeah, no, if you can do it that way around, then all power to you. But I just could not do it anymore.
Yeah, it's a bit it's a balancing act, because then sometimes if I start earlier in the day, I'm still trying to kind of keep
Yeah.
keep the creativity in the morning. But how do you kind of maintain that creativity when you're so busy?
I'm struggling, not gonna lie, a little bit.
See, people will like to hear that though, because it's
Yeah,
again, it's
I will always be as transparent as
yeah,
I can with everyone, because it's very easy to be misled on social media, being like we said earlier, they've got it all figured out. But no, I'm just same as all of you, like same human. And yeah, no, it's difficult. Like I've been working a lot. Like I should be editing 2 videos parallel right now.
sorry.
And I no, not at all, not at all. But that's what I will be doing after this. And yeah, I'll get to the end of my day. I won't have played guitar all day again, because I've spent the whole time editing the videos I'm going to put out. So it's very strange sort of balance. I'm very grateful for what I do and I absolutely love it, but I'm not good at balancing, I don't think. And yeah, I do struggle. Actually, no, lies. I'm finding it quite easy to songwrite at the moment because I'm really inspired and happy with what I'm doing. But like, if I've been editing all week and already filming big videos for YouTube, I'll find it very hard to find the motivation to then make content for Instagram as well. Yeah, I need to get better at the balancing thing again, but I'm at this weird identity crisis point where I'm like, oh, I just need to get my own stuff out now, but I don't want to stop posting stuff, because then like the algorithms will stop favoring me and my content and people will start forgetting. So I'm on this treadmill and I'm not allowed to stop, basically. So I just have to hold on a bit longer.
I've heard sort of countering opinions from different musicians, although most seem to be on board with the idea that the whole content cycle is quite harmful, because I think you know, especially where a good, like some good songs just come out in a day, you know. Some good songs, like I remember John Mayer, something I found really that I liked that he said, he's a funny guy anyway, so I like quite a lot of what he says, but he said something like, sometimes songwriting can feel like math homework, in that like sometimes you need to figure it out and you need to make it work where it isn't working right now.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of paraphrasing, but I found that quite inspiring, because it's like sometimes you have this view of like people just turning out a song in a day, and like some people write like that. I've written maybe like parts of songs in a day where I've like done a lot in a day, but it's not often that I would write a whole song in a day.
No.
Yeah, I think the whole idea of so it's like, if you can't write a song in a day, how are you expected, if you want to be creative at least online, how on earth are you expected to write? I never get how, I follow some guys on Instagram. I've chatted to some on this podcast, but I'm like, I don't know how they keep up the output, the creative output, like where they're putting original stuff out like every few days, or, you know.
I don't get it either. Like, well, where the hell, like, do you sleep? Like, what do you do? Yeah. No, I'm the same. I see some people and I'm like, how have you done this? Or whether they just do it all in one go, I'm really not sure. But yeah, it's difficult. It's a balancing act. You're just juggling the whole time.
Yeah, like with the band, we were talking about like doing reels and Instagram reels and stuff. I think we end up at this sort of shitty halfway place where we didn't really want to do reels, so we kind of didn't really put the time in.
You know what? No, I saw something. Yeah, I saw something the other day from. Obviously, I am on the reels side of things now, but it's actually crazy when you think about it, because I saw, when I said the other day, it was like a few months ago now, but it was like a status from a band being like, we submitted all of this stuff to our record label and they said that it needs to be more TikTok-y.
Oh.
And I'm like, oh, this is what it's become now. Like, you can't just be a band anymore. You have to do the social media thing as well if you want to really like make waves, I guess, or at least that's how it feels. And I don't like that.
No,
but it's the way it is.
I think there are a couple of, so I have two. The only reason I have two kind of opposing views in my head about this, because they always say that like if you want something done, ask a busy person, because they know how to do things. And when you're constantly busy, if you want to write a song, it's like, I guess you learn how to be busy, and you learn to just be productive and and be creative in a short space of time. Equally, sometimes I just think like, I wish I just had a week where I could just do nothing. And I technically could do that. I guess I could just cancel lessons for a week, but like, maybe I will. I don't know. It's not great for the old income.
No,
but yeah, so I'm always torn, because I think like keeping yourself busy is really important. And I think counterintuitively, if say you won the lottery and you just did not need to work, I think you possibly might end up getting less done than you would if you had a reasonable workload on top of what you're doing. Because I think as humans, we just need that thing, that I think we need to be working. I think like a lot of people make the mistake of thinking relaxing is doing nothing. Like you need that, of course. Like you need time, just like watch TV or go on holiday.
Definitely, like a bit guilty. I'm better these days than I was before. But yeah, a good friend of mine, Rabia. I don't know. Are you familiar with Rabia? No. Yeah,
I've met him a few times. He kind of, whenever I see him, he goes, "Hey," like he kind of knows. Yeah. So he knows who I am, but we're not. I wouldn't say we're friends, you know.
So he put up something a few months ago on his Instagram story, being like, essentially along the lines of that, he really struggles when he's not working because he thinks it's bad, basically, to relax and not be working. And I can relate 100%. If I'm not doing anything, then I'm like, this is really bad. Like I've got so much to do, and I'm not being productive, and I'm not working towards my goals because I'm not doing anything. But I am actually in a place now where I'm like, I've been going nonstop for so many years now. I haven't been on a holiday or had time off since 2019. So it's been a few years. And
well, 2019, according to COVID, was only about 3 weeks ago anyway.
Yeah, so right.
Not that long.
So yeah, but well, I worked all through the pandemic.
Yeah, no,
busier than ever. But that was when I was teaching a lot as well. And because I haven't had any time away, I'm very much so struggling now, and I have been probably for the last year, with my productivity levels, because I think I'm burnt out. But I'm so burnt out now from such a long period of time. It's almost beyond the point of fixing it, I think. Literally is how I feel about it.
Yeah, I think it's, so for me, it's
keep going.
Yeah, I think for me, it's about like allocating time that you're okay with yourself taking off, because I think it's so easy to just sit and like watch a thing on Netflix, but like in the time that if you set yourself that time in the day to do the thing, like that chill thing, I think I end up feeling okay about that.
Yeah.
But if I just like do it, even if it's not for long, I just feel bad about it.
Yeah, I do as well. Yeah, the amount of times I catch myself scrolling, and I'm like, oh, this is really bad. I shouldn't be doing this. I need to be doing something. And I'm like, yeah, I could be spending this time later in the evening properly relaxing, rather than like semi-relaxing. Trying to relax at my desk, doesn't really work, does it? Yeah.
No, I think like, and it's the constant like having, notifications for everything all the time is like so honestly, difficult.
I turn them off. I can't. It's too much. Otherwise I would never not be able to look at my phone again. So I have like my emails and text messages, and Facebook messages, but other than that, like Instagram and Facebook notifications, all of that sort of stuff, it's all turned off, because it would just be constant if I didn't turn it off.
I find I always get, what I find is if I go onto my Instagram to like either to post something, or on the band one to post something, or the podcast, whatever, I always get sucked into like some reels or something as I'm doing that, and then you wake up 20 minutes later like where was I
wasted all that time for? So
like, so it's, even if you're not trying to do it, sometimes if you're just trying to genuinely use the platform, do you have anything where you actively disconnect from social media, because you're so present on it, between YouTube, Instagram, the Facebook, etc.
The Facebook.
Yeah, the Facebooks.
Do I have anything where I step away?
Or are you conscious of you said you turn your notifications off. Is there anything else you do or think about to try and make sure that you don't get locked into it? That can be a no, that question.
Yeah, I mean, I set myself I don't know what it's called, like not do not disturb mode, but basically where you put timers on apps. So at 10 o'clock every evening, I can't have access to anything, but you can, because you can say ignore limit, and then
That's
you end up
the
looking
whole
at it
problem.
anyway.
Yeah.
So I was really good at it for a little while, and then it all just becomes, it's just too addicting, isn't it? Social media, I'm definitely addicted to it. But it's hard because it's where my work is, it's where my job is, and I have to stay in contact with everybody all the time because that's how it works. So I'm in a bit of a tough spot on how to get away from it properly. The only time really is when I'm on my motorbike or driving my car, because obviously I'm not going to use my phone at those points. That's the only times that I can really not look at my phone.
So here's a question: how cool out of 10 is your motorbike versus your car?
Oh my god, the motorbikes are so much cooler. I actually have another motorbike. I have my big girl bike set up for when I take and pass my test.
Cool.
So when I can go into a big.
Oh, because you're limited by. Okay, yeah.
I am. Yes, I'm only on like a little 125cc little learner
cool.
bike. Yeah. I mean, I've almost been riding a year, but not really. When you factor in like winter and how much it rains here, I haven't really ridden that much.
Yeah.
But yeah, so my bikes are way cooler than my car is, but at the same time I live in a city, and my last car, it got totaled when I was asleep, like not in the car, I was asleep in my house.
I was gonna say, if you're asleep in the car, that's not great.
Someone drove into my car and totaled it, and then literally 2 weeks ago I come out and I'm like, why is there loads of scratches on my car? Someone's driven into the front right corner of it and scratched off all the paint. So there's literally no point in having a nice car where I live anyway. The motorbikes are locked up in my back garden where no one can get to them, so I can keep them safe. So yeah, until I move into a nicer area where I have my own driveway, then I can have a nice car. But until then, there's literally no point.
Yeah, so, I used to live in Studentville here in sunny Birmingham, and I think my right side wing mirror got smashed 4 times. And I think possibly at least half of them would have been from drunk students, would be my suspicion.
Yeah, definitely. It's just people suck.
People. And on that note, yeah, I had one more kind of little question, and then I'll get you to go ahead and ask your question.
Cool. I'm excited.
So one thing I was just interested in is, and this is something that I find a difficult thing to balance. All these new skills you've had to learn, like video editing and just generally presenting yourself online, being your own business, all of this. Do you find that rewarding and interesting, or does it just feel like a bit of a chore, or is it kind of somewhere in between?
Somewhere in between, I would say. I actually really like video editing, and I'm really fascinated by it. I'm not very good at it. I would like to be so amazingly good at it that I understand how to do special effects and CGI and all that sort of stuff, but it's never going to happen. If I wasn't a musician, maybe I would actually end up doing something like that. But the other stuff, tell you what, because I don't have a manager, I have literally no support right now. I'm on my own. The side of it I really hate is like the financial side, like doing taxes.
I don't find that fun.
The admin side of things, so like responding to all the emails and everything like that on my own. Oh god, it takes so long. So yeah, the creative side of things I still really enjoy, but the nitty gritty lifey things, I find those the worst. Like, it's just hard to organize, isn't it? And try and be in charge of all of your stuff and get it right and keep track of everything. I find that difficult. But yeah, no, I enjoy the creative side of things. I get a real kick out of like a nice looking filming room, or like a nice angle, a good camera lens, nice lighting, that kind of thing. Like I do like that side of things. Yeah.
Cool. So it's just about finding the things that, putting the time in where you, I guess, where you still find some passion to do it, I guess, is the kind of takeaway from that, I guess.
Yeah, I would say so. I've never had a passion for answering emails, so.
No? Oh, okay. Sorry times 2, I guess.
I don't think anyone really loves doing that side of things, do they?
No, I was sending loads this morning. I got bored. I get bored. Like, stuff. I used to, just as a quick note, when I did the lessons, I'd write an email summary the next day, but I would write like rubbish notes in the lesson just so I knew what I was doing the next day.
Yeah.
But what I've started doing now, and I'd look at the email and just be like, do tab for this. I'm like, what is that? But now I do it in the lesson, so it's a bit more streamlined. But I even get bored just writing like the one sentence, nice work, here's your lesson summary. I'm like, how am I getting bored of this?
Yeah. I remember that. I used to have this little book. And when I say little, it was actually a big old folder, and every student had their own sort of thing. And I'd say what we'd done in the lesson so I could keep track for the next week. And I used to hate doing that as well. I'd just put the song sometimes, just like Hotel California. That'd be it. I don't know where or what we've done.
That's a good few lessons worth of song there. You're all good.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And one last one, just because I wrote it down. Are they real studio plants or are they fake?
That one is real. The one, can you see that?
I can see. Oh, yeah. That's, yeah.
That's real. That's a spider plant. A couple other ones.
Wait, that's a spider plant. That's huge.
Yeah. Yeah. This is fake. But I don't know where you could find a real one that hangs like that. I just liked, because they hang over shelves and stuff like that. So no, a bit real and a bit fake.
Fake plants never did it for me. So I'd rather have a dying real
plant. With my cats, Bella, the little demon, she'll eat them. I had that an hour. I come in my room and she's like, and I'm like, oh, for God's sake, great, you're killing my plant. I've literally had it an hour and you're eating it already. So, and I also don't know, I need to know what's toxic and what's not. So sometimes, a bit both.
Cat management can add to the list.
No interest in chewing the plastic ones, just the real ones, obviously. So it's funny that.
All right, yeah. Oh God. Anyway, I'll ask you your question for the next guest, and it can be whatever, absolutely anything. It can be deep and meaningful, or undeep and unmeaningful.
Cats or dogs, and why, and who? Choose carefully.
Jeez, that was intense. Cats and dogs, and why, and who, and choose carefully.
Yeah, I could have worded that better.
No, you've done it now. That's cool.
Cats or dogs? Which one? Reason for your choice, but choose carefully. Actually, no, I like
the and who.
And who? I'm a cat person, but I actually really love dogs as well. But cats are slightly more for me. Personally, I just love the way how they're like, it's all on my terms. Whereas dogs are like, I love you, I love you, I love you. Human, great. And then cats are like, feed me. Okay, you've served your purpose. Go fuck off now. I just love it.
I think I'm with you on that. I'd like to have a dog one day, but cats are so much easier.
I would like to have a kitten and a puppy together, and they grow up together. That's what I would really like.
They can eat all your plants.
My two here, I've got two cats. They don't do dogs. It's a no. We have a friend, and they or friends, and they bring over their dog sometimes, and my two just sit high up, like observing, being like, I'm not sure about you. It's quite a scene actually, but yeah, I'd like them to be friends with dogs, but it's not going to happen.
Well, there we have it. The last profound thing if you do have any sort of anything you want to share or plug or promote or just a message to the world, then now's your chance.
A couple of things. So stay tuned for the original music that I'm hopefully going to be releasing really soon. And also, if you're looking to learn guitar, either get lessons from you or check out
I'm gonna cut it now.
Or check out my ultimate guitar course with Musicism. You can find that literally everywhere, and it's a mental big guitar course that I spent a good couple of months filming, and it's got like 100 lessons and over 11 hours of footage in it, so it's definitely worth checking out. Worked very hard on it, so I hope it can help some people.
Or for just £30 an hour.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, but the thing is, you spend.
You don't. It's fine.
Ends up cheaper, doesn't it?
No, you win. Fair enough. Yours is a bit cooler.
No, definitely. Yeah, I know. I think there's pros and cons to learning one-on-one and learning at your own pace, depending on what you're after, I think. But yeah.
There you go. I'll send them your way. Cool. I'll send the annoying ones your way.
No, the annoying ones.
Which is none of them.
Good. Nice save.
Yeah. So yeah, thank you very much. And that was fun.
Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure. Absolute pleasure.
Awesome.